Picking this lock too? Oh my God. Only in a video game would you see this, trust me. My name is Michael Francis, and I am a former capo regime in the Colombo crime family, one of the 5 New York Mafia families. I was born in Brooklyn, raised there for many, many years, then moved out to the coast here. I'm in Los Angeles now with my wife and a bunch of kids, and kind of changed the direction of my life, but I was part of that life for over 25 years. I did some time in prison, was indicted several times, arrested more times than I could remember, somehow managed to get through it all, and here I am now today. I came into that life in an early age. I was 24 years old when I was inducted into the family in a very solemn ceremony, Halloween night, 1975. I was made with 5 other guys. That's the term we use, made. My father was a heavyweight in that life. He was the underboss of the Colombo family back in the 60s. My dad, unfortunately, drew a 50-year prison sentence. He was convicted of masterminding a nationwide string of bank robberies. Went to trial, was convicted, and got a 50-year prison sentence. So he had a powerful influence on me. I got involved with that life to try to help my father get out of that prison sentence, and then I got deeply involved myself. I came in as a soldier. I was elevated to the position of captain, capo regime, and at one point in time they were slating me to become the boss of that family. Went on to make a very significant amount of money. I had devised a scheme to defraud the government out of tax on every gallon of gasoline. Ran that scheme for over 8 years, and at one point in time I was bringing in close to $8 million a week and became a major target of law enforcement. I was indicted actually 5 times. I had 2 federal racketeering cases, one brought on by Rudy Giuliani, a trial that I was acquitted in actually. But then in 1985 I was indicted on another major racketeering case by the feds. 10-year prison sentence. I had a $15 million restitution. I had fallen in love with a young girl who was actually a dancer in a film that I was involved in, married her, and wanted to kind of change my life. So I took the plea as a result of that. I did 8 years on that 10, which was the maximum, came out and kind of turned my life around. I'm now a public speaker. I've written several books. I've heard of these mafia games because I've been asked to get involved in them in some way and never really paid too much attention to it. My wife would think I lost my mind if I started playing video games, but actually my boys said, "Dad, you should get involved, it's fun." You know, they wanted to play a few times, but I just never did it, but I heard of them for sure. Well, there's probably a lot of things in video games that you can't really do in real life. I don't know, I'm about to find out. Well, obviously we're in Manhattan, my old stomping grounds. Grew up in Brooklyn, but obviously spent a lot of time in Manhattan.
I don't really remember too much about the old country. And then one day my father decided it was time to move away.
Well, my grandparents came over a little earlier than that, actually. I think 1910, my grandparents first came here. My father was actually, he was born in Naples on a boat trip that my grandparents went back. He was born there, he stayed there for about 6 months, then came back to the States. It's funny, when he got in trouble, he was a naturalized citizen, otherwise they would have deported him. The way the Mafia started to form here in America, unfortunately, you know, some of the street guys were doing exactly this. They were feeding off of their own kind. Yeah, it's somewhat realistic, yeah. I mean, this is how it started out, kind of preying on their own kind, and then it got a bit more sophisticated.
Load this pile of crates onto that truck. Start now and don't take all day.
They got the dialogue right, huh? These guys must all be from Brooklyn. You know, mob guys don't usually do honest work when they're in the mob, that's for sure. Well, they may do some, but it's always in connection to something illegal that they're doing.
When I said I needed a job, I didn't mean slave labor.
Whatever.
I can make 100 times more working for Barbaro Incorporated.
Wait, you said Barbaro? Joe Barbaro?
You know, Joe Barbaro was a real guy, by the way. Did you ever hear of Appalachia? Back in the 1950s, there was a meeting of all the major mob guys from all over the country. It was in Appalachia, New York. Law enforcement got wind of it. There was a lot of guys there, and they actually kind of invaded the place. Everybody ran away. They locked up a whole bunch of guys. It was the last time that a major meeting of mob guys from around the country ever happened as a result of that.
So you won't mind if I give Joe a call, right?
So would he be calling a guy on the phone to ask about that? I don't know. I doubt it. We didn't use phone calls for situations like that. He'd say, you know, he'd probably say, you know, I'll go and meet the guy, you know, I'll find out, come back tomorrow, I'll let you know. And you better be telling the truth, because if you're not, you're going to be in trouble. You didn't want to use somebody's name back in the day. That would get you in trouble. Even if you knew somebody and used his name without them knowing about it, you'd be in trouble. I was in a bar that my father had something to do with. I was younger, And there was a guy at the bar that was bothering one of the waitresses. And so the owner came over to me. He said, Mike, can you talk to this guy? He said, because he's getting a little bit out of control, being a little out of hand. And I said, okay. So I went over to him and I said, hey, you know, why don't you leave the girl alone? She don't want to be bothered. You're getting a little out of hand. And he looked at me and he said, you know who I am? The worst line you could ever say to somebody in that life. And I said, no, tell me who you are. He says, you know who owns this place? I said, no, tell me who owns it. He said, a guy by the name of Sonny Francis. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, let me tell you this. He said, Sonny's doing time right now. He's away, but I make one phone call and I'll have his son Michael down here in 5 minutes. And he's talking to me, okay? So needless to say, I said, I'll tell you what, come in the back. Since you mentioned such a strong name, I want to talk to you, you know. We took him in the back and I guarantee you this guy never would mention somebody's name again. That was commonplace in New York. People mention each other, people's names all the time. Get him in trouble, so he's a collector. So in other words, it's Shylock money on the street and he's collecting. Common job. When I was a captain, I had a lot of guys around me. I used to give the money to them at 1 or 2 points a week, and they in turn would lend it out, you know, and add another point or two for themselves so they can make some money, because we had a lot of guys around us that couldn't earn 5 cents. If we didn't help them, you know, give them something, they wouldn't have any money. So, but everybody, any mob guy that has any kind of money, he's always putting it out on the street. When I went to prison, I had about $1 million on the street. I was collecting 2% a week, so do the math, there was a lot of money.
Now get out of here before I kick your ass.
Well, you know what? As soon as he said that, that's what would happen. All right. Now, I'll be honest with you, usually there's no fight like that. Normally it's one punch or one kick and he's down. That's it, and the money comes back. When a guy owes money, they're not fighting back. They're gonna pay because they know who they owe it to. And they know that if they don't pay or if they do anything out of turn, they're gonna be in trouble. You gotta remember, in that life, you know, you make a mistake, you pay for it. You could pay for it with your life. I mean, it could be serious, so you don't see fights like that.
Hey, pal. Derek needs you to pay the fee for the barber.
Yeah. I must have forgot or something.
Next time, try to pay on time, okay? Thanks.
Yeah, that's how it would go normally.
Hey, Derek needs you to pay the fee for the barber.
Sure, here it is. I don't want no problems.
Don't leave it until the last minute next time.
Yeah, this is normal, but why does he collect the money off all of these guys that are just workers? They must be gamblers.
Hey, pal.
Got to be a gambling debt, because he wouldn't be lending money to guys like that. Now, this is not real. I got to tell you, this is not realistic. You don't see fights like this. See, one thing you got to remember, we didn't fight on the street. If we fought, it was some spontaneous thing that happened in a club or whatever. If somebody got out of hand and they didn't pay, they'd be in a hospital. I mean, they may as well be in a boxing ring. I mean, this is not realistic at all. That's it. Good kick. Saw a lot of that. A lot of this was unrealistic. First of all, these are guys that they're working stiffs. If money was lent to them, I'm sure it wasn't a lot. You lend to what you know you're going to get paid back. When you put money out on the street, guy can keep it forever as long as he pays the interest. That's the whole deal. You don't have to pay the principal back for as long as he keeps it, as long as he doesn't miss an interest payment. You miss a payment, you're in trouble. You'd never see a fight over that. You know, maybe the mob guy would hit the guy that didn't have the money, but nobody's going to hit back. That's the least traffic I ever seen in Manhattan.
I need gas stamps. They're worth a fortune now because of the gas shortage.
Gas stamps?
Where can we get them?
Pretty close to home for me. The case that I finally got convicted on, I took a plea on, was a case in which I defrauded the government out of tax on every gallon of gasoline. I ran that operation for about 8 years. I had all the Russian mobsters involved with me on that. And at the height of my operation, I had 350 gas stations I either owned or operated. And I had 18 companies that were licensed to collect tax on every gallon of gasoline. The height of my operation, we were selling 500 million gallons of gas a month, and we were taking down 20, 30, 40 cents a gallon. Close to $8, $9 million a week. I had my own jet plane, I had a helicopter, I had houses all over the country, so I mean, I had it going on. If you have gas, it's like having money. You know, I had a terminal out in Long Island in Oceanside, and we always had 3 or 4 million gallons of gas in the ground, and that was like cash. So the object here is, this guy Vito is supposed to go into past security guards, without planning this, without thinking about it, without putting a crew together, somehow get through the security guards in a place that he's never scoped out before, because normally you're going to scope it out, you're going to see what's what. You got to plan something like this, and then how are you going to get into the safe? He's got no tools with him. He's just walking in there and somehow magically going to open the safe. Would never happen that way. I want to see if he's going to case it out first, if he's going to look, see how many security guards there. He didn't get any information whatsoever on what that safe looks like, what kind of safe it is. So how do you just go in there and crack a safe without knowing anything about it or having any tools or figuring anything out? What is he going to do with the security guards? How's he going to get past them? What is he going to tell them? Going to sneak in a window? He's driving Maria now to the hospital.
They keep the back door open at night.
No, but the basement window usually is. So
How did I call that? It was coming in through a window.
Safe, right?
Yeah.
Never happened. How many guards are there? She didn't say. What are they guarding? The front, the back? Are they walking through the halls? I mean, you're going to pull a job off like this, you're going to want to know everything as in detail as you possibly can, so you know what you can do and what you can't do. Now, the problem with this, also, is Maria is if this heist does take effect, she's a potential witness. See, right off the bat, I can tell you this is not a one-man job. You'd have at least two people there, somebody watching out for him, maybe somebody trying to distract the security guards. It would never be a one-man job. All right, well, that was convenient. The window was left open. He's in the men's room.
All right, here's the key. Now I gotta get to the safe.
Find the safe and steal the stamps. Okay. You wouldn't count on trying to get around the guard or sneaking around. You'd probably just get the guard and hit him in the back of the head, knock him out, and then go about your business because you don't even know where the safe is. You gotta go look for it, so you can't keep sneaking around from the guard. You just take him out right away. Okay. Well, the guy is not a safe cracker. He's never done anything like this in his life, but he's going to go in there and he's going to crack a sophisticated safe. No, that's not happening. Now, we did have people that were, safe crackers. They knew how to do this, but you're not going to tell a guy cold to go in and crack a safe. It's not going to happen. Picking a lock, very difficult. Again, you got to be a locksmith. You got to have tools. You got to know what you're doing. You can't just walk in there cold and pick a lock. I wish it was that easy. We would have been a lot wealthier. No, he's pretty good. You got it done somehow. Now, this looks like a pretty secure safe. It looks like it'd be like a bank vault almost. Now, how's he going to open this? Picking this lock too? Oh my God. Only in a video game would you see this, trust me. Now, first of all, he wouldn't only take the stamps, he'd take everything in there. All right, so the alarm went off. Security guards are still roaming around. This is why you take them out. There's no way that he would get out of this place. No way in the world. This whole scene is totally unrealistic. I had somebody shoot at me once, but it was a mistake. I was getting out of a car at a diner in Brooklyn. There was three of us. And it was drive-by and guys shot at us. They thought we were somebody else.
These stamps you took have an expiration date.
And you didn't say anything about any expiration dates?
This would blow up real bad in real life, real bad. The guy went through all that trouble. I didn't hear him say anything about expiration dates on stamps. He almost gets himself killed. He gets in, gets what he has to get, gets out, hands him the thing, and then he said, "This isn't any good." That would end very badly for one of them there, trust me.
What the hell is this?
Crazy bastard!
So this is the Irish mob and the Italian guys.
What the hell are you doing here, you...
They're pulling off a heist at the same place at the same time.
So this is our...
Pretty unrealistic. Now, you got to understand, back in the day, back in the 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, when things were unorganized, possibly something like this could have happened. But in later days, when, the families were formed and we got a lot more sophisticated, something like this would never happen. There would never be a major shootout in the street, among rival gangs. There would never be cops coming all at one time. So this is pretty unrealistic. In my day, other than the Lufthansa heist, which you might have heard about, it was a big, big heist in the airport at the time. I don't remember anything like this ever occurring in the 25 years that I was part of that life. Nor did I ever hear of anything. But again, back in the 20s, 30s, possibly, but certainly not in the Mafia that we know. There's two guys there going to go in against an army of cops. I mean, that would never happen. These guys would be running for their lives, trying to find some place to get out of there. I don't think the game was very realistic. It certainly was intriguing. I mean, the graphics were amazing. You can tell that, who's ever creating these games, they don't have a real knowledge of the life, and that's not really knocking them because unless you're an insider, you don't really have knowledge of that life. You wouldn't see shootouts in the middle of the street. You wouldn't see warring gangs going after each other. It was a fun ride. For realism, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 4 or 5. After watching this and playing this game a little bit, I mean, it's so sensational, so to speak. I don't see how anybody can look at this game and actually, let it affect their life to the point where they would want to go out and commit a violent act. I mean, I just don't get it. To me, there's no relation to that whatsoever. It's a game.